Hello, alright, yeah. Hello, guys. Thanks for joining us again for another episode of the Football Fan Zone. Like you know, this is a show where we review the weekend's action from the Premier League, and this weekend is no different. We've had a full weekend of Premier League fixtures, and we're here to dissect and analyze the results. But before we do, of course, I have to do the formal introductions as usual. Let me start from my top right hand side. I have the sports fan who is, I'll say, is in a great mood. Nice choice of outfit, I would say. The Uzo, how are you doing, man?
I like how Pius adds that D to my name every time Spurs are in a good run of form. Adams, be careful. I'm coming for your title. But you know, man, there's certain teams in the league that I just like beating. United didn't used to be one of those teams. It used to be just Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea. It's just those three teams. That's my Super Bowl. But recently, I've encountered a few United fans. I would say those who shall not be mentioned, but I'll mention them. George. Where's George? Where's George? George was on this platform giving it the big guns, bro. Off season, Ineos have fixed the light bulbs. Ineos have painted the walls. Ineos have changed his life. There's a new cook. There's new spaghetti in the canteen, and he's nowhere to be found. Where's George? I know.
Let him go, man. Let him go off, man.
I know we're not getting into the game yet, so I'll save some leftovers for later. But I'm in a great mood. But as far as this outfit, it's only one reason, man. Chelsea are back. I'm representing all the Agueros. I had to go put out my singlet from the back of my clothes. I haven't worn singlet in a long time. I was like, nah, this what I'm witnessing. This is what I grew up on. Chelsea are back. A bunch of superstar attackers, you know. So expectations are changing. I figured, you know what? If you can't beat them, join them. So shout out to Aguero FC. Shout out to Downful Drivers. Shout out to Thugs FC. We are back. We are back. Don't let them tell you different.
All right. The Adams. Welcome.
Oh, man.
Chelsea back.
Hey, man. Hey, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say, but we'll see.
It's for me humble. Stay humble, eh? Stay humble, eh?
Yeah, I'm
All right, guys. Let's dive in. Right. I think there's only one place to start. There's only one fixture to start with, and that was like the fixture we just saw a few hours ago. I think that was a fixture of the weekend in terms of the status of the both clubs. It was Manchester United hosting Tottenham Hotspur at Old Trafford, and the game ended 3-0. Emphatic victory for the Spurs. You know, right now Spurs fans are feeling good. I think since the North London defeat, it's been 3 straight victories, if I'm not wrong. So Tottenham are feeling good. In terms of the game, it was total dominance from Tottenham. I think they said this was the highest XG in terms of goal XG in terms of since like 2000 or something. I've forgotten good one for Tottenham. Of course, I'll have to start with Uzo, man. The sports fan in the house. I'll have to start with you. Uzo, first of all, let me get your thoughts on the game. Who impressed you? Brennan Johnson, scoring, back-to-back games now. I'm sure you're excited. You're happy. I'm sure you're regretting your stance on him. I'm sure you're here to tell us now that you're wrong. Over to you, Uzo.
See how you just ruined my mood.
Sorry.
This Brennan thing, truly, I'm not Chooks. Let me go ahead and declare it on this platform. I'm not Chooks that's going to be standing mid all season and trying to make it work. The whole Kai Havertz thing, that's his thing, bro. You like bad footballers, that's your thing. I don't care how many goals this guy scores in a row. Please, I beg. The admin is like there's a geolocator in my toes. No, nothing's going to change. At the end of the day, we watch football with our eyes. And I'm sure that all of the different variety of tap-ins that this guy has scored has not changed anybody's mind on the kind of player that he is. And if it has, I'm daring any of you, bring me your left winger. I'll give you cash plus Brennan. Let's make a deal. No, if he's changed all of your minds, especially that Barca fan, there's bigger fish to fry right now.
Yeah. Don't get sidetracked.
Before I even get into the ops, I want to talk about the performance from a Spurs perspective, because I spent the entire first half thinking, I don't know how much of this is Spurs being good versus United just being extremely poor. And I think it's about 50-50. I think we were better than we have been in the past. But I think also we just came across a team that was just absolutely diabolical. And diabolical in terms of attitude, shape, commitment, resolve, fight, all of the basic things. Like, it's very cliche. All pundits say this. You have to earn the right to play. Earning the right to play means doing the dirty work that allows you to play and enjoy yourself. We all know when you're playing street ball, nobody wants to be goalie. Nobody wants to be a center back. Nobody wants to be where there's no action. You want to be in the thick of it. You want to be touching the ball 5-6 times. You want to do all the cute and fun, exciting things. But it is necessary to have the steel, the backbone that allows you to do that. And that's why when you come to being a professional football club, being a professional footballer, you have to be able to do the basics. You have to be able to do the dirty things that allow you to gain the right to play. So just off rip, United's attitude was shit. Their commitment was poor, and they didn't earn the right to play. They were absolutely cowardly in their application, not even in their approach, in the application of the manager's tactics. So I'm one that loves to dunk on Erik ten Hag, but I couldn't really dunk on him much today. I think he got the lineup wrong, but I think it was that wrong for what we saw on the pitch. So for me, 90% is on the players. From a Spurs perspective, it's the exact opposite. I think that you finally saw a complete buy-in from top to bottom. You saw a team that was working one for another. Commentary mentioned it around the 15, 20-minute mark that people think that a lot of what Spurs do is just chaotic. And sometimes it can look chaotic because you've got left backs in center mid, you've got a center back driving down the line. It all looks random and just absolute chaos. But he was mentioning that he could hear the communication that's going on the pitch. And that's what stood out to me, is to play in this kind of expansive manner where you're sometimes having to take risks and get out of your position and have somebody cover for you. It requires an obscene amount of communication and an obscene amount of trust. So for me, the biggest thing that stood out is the communication was top notch. You could see that everybody was working selflessly one for the other. People were picking up where somebody else wasn't quite up to scratch. And sometimes that's all you can ask for in terms of a complete performance. From a managerial standpoint, y'all can see my tagline today. I've been very critical of the manager, but I have to be honest. I'm looking back now on the Arsenal game, the Brentford game, the game midweek, with different lenses, because I think that there have been tweaks to the system, right? And the way sometimes the underlying numbers don't tell you the full picture. One of the biggest things that I was critical of the manager for was when we're in a position of strength and we're in the ascendancy, where we have control of the game, we had the tendency to overextend ourselves and leave ourselves vulnerable to a counterattack that then flips all the momentum, flips all the control, and now we're under the cuff. And sometimes you see the players, they're just rattled. We started in the Chelsea game, right? Leading up to the red card, we're in a position of ascendancy. We're in control. This was last year, the first fixture. We're in control. We were almost about to be 2-0 up. It's looking like a routine performance. And then boom, one moment, boneheaded mistake, and all the momentum flips. And all of a sudden, we're under the cuff. It was like deer in headlights. So that was something that I had always just adamantly been absolutely against. Is I need the team to be mature. I need the team to be disciplined. I need to see us be able to sustain that control and that pressure. And now I look back on the last 3 fixtures and I can see a different view. We're not as extended. And I'm one to raise my hand up when I've been wrong. And it doesn't change much about my belief in the manager himself, but it does give me a reason to be optimistic about his ability to adapt. So someone was telling me this midweek, they were like, there's a difference between philosophy and approach. Philosophies doesn't have to change. Like if you're an attacking manager, it doesn't have to change. Your philosophy never has to change, but your approach can change. So you can be an attacking manager in a 3-4-3. You can be an attacking manager in a 4-2-2-2. We all know all the different formations. There's different attacking managers that utilize different formations. It doesn't change the philosophy of how they want their team to play. but it can offer you more control. It can offer you more discipline. And so for me, Ange hasn't changed his philosophy, and that's okay. I didn't want him to, but I think he has adapted his approach, and I think you're now seeing a more disciplined and a more controlled Spurs side. I didn't see us concede as many chances on the break. I didn't see us as susceptible to set pieces. And I go back to the Arsenal game. Yeah, arguably we had one breakaway chance for Arsenal and one major set piece chance. In prior fixtures, I think that would have been 3-4 times that. Right now, we're going against one of the best teams out of possession, one of the best teams in set pieces. So of course they were bound to do us on one of those. But and I said this even after the Arsenal game, like if you didn't want the manager out before this game, this shouldn't be the game to turn your opinion. He was already on fraud watch for me, so it was just added evidence. But now that I re-examine it, I'm happy to be wrong and say, okay, I can see a more disciplined approach. And honestly, if this is the Spurs that I'm getting for the rest of the season, then let's have it. Because I think this Spurs side can have the chance to win most games, especially in this league. Listen, this league, the quality of this league is absolutely down the drain. The defending in this league is awful. We're going to get to Chelsea soon. I don't fear this league the way I once did going into the season. So yeah, if this is the Spurs that I can expect from week to week, then I think we have a chance at top 4. We have a chance at achieving something this season. And it brings back a lot of excitement for me personally, because I can at least see that the manager is willing to adapt. And I'll get to the ops later, but that was kind of a soliloquy. So let me hear your thoughts first.
Yeah, a lot was being said. There are lots to unpack. I'll come back to you on Spurs. So let me come to Adams now. The Adams, let me get your view on, first of all, the game, and then in terms of Manchester United, right? What do you make of them so far? So we've seen they've played 6 games this season, right? Has there been any sort of difference? Has there been any sort of change in terms of how they are, how they play, or have you noticed any sort of difference? They brought in some new players, Ugarte, Zegzi. They brought in their legend, Ruud van Nistelrooy, to come in and assist Ten Hag. Has there been any sort of change for you? I know the earlier part of the season, they were saying, it seems United have started pressing better. I think I was reading one article before today's game, and they were saying that this season they've had, like, out of their 5 games prior to this Spurs game, 3 of those games they've had more possession than their opponents, including the game versus Liverpool. But for you, did you see anything change? Are those just numbers and vibes?
I haven't seen any change. And it's funny I say that because against Crystal Palace, you remember preview of that game or a review of that game, I was like, you know what? I felt like Manchester United should have won that game. I felt it was just like one of those games where they just couldn't score, right? Because Crystal Palace were poor and Manchester United totally dominated that game, and it was unfortunate that they couldn't win that game. But then, looking at that Spurs game, I hear what Uzo said, but I think I have to disagree with most of the things he said. I don't think Spurs has changed that much. I saw that game midweek. The same craziness. Yeah. They just played a very terrible team. Their guy, reckless challenge in the first 10 minutes of the game. That's what that happens a lot, right? And they were conceding a lot of chances. And for a team like that to come to Old Trafford and keep a clean sheet against Manchester United is crazy. That is insane that you can't score a goal against. Bro, I don't want to hear what anybody has to say, but this Spurs team, they will always give you chances. You always concede chances against them. And I know the way the game went, conceding a goal in the first 5 minutes of the game can destabilize you, can destabilize your plans or whatever. But, knowing the type of team you are playing should always give you that, that advantage, that confidence that, let's just keep playing. We are still in the game. It's just 1-0 down at home. We're in front of our fans. We feel like we have the quality. And I felt like Manchester United had the quality on the day. I felt like they did. I felt like they had players that could make Spurs pay. So I wouldn't, I don't want to take any credit away from Spurs. Spurs, they had some good performances. I think the red card obviously helped them, but to me, I think it was mostly Manchester United being absolutely poor.
I think that's the point I'm trying to get from what you're saying now. It's like just how Manchester United performed in the game. You know what? I think Manchester United were so poor because I can't even remember any sort of during the first time. I can't really remember any sort of big chance that you say, oh wow.
I think they had that Garnacho chance that hit the bar, right?
Wow.
I mean,
yeah,
but
that's funny.
that wasn't even a big chance. I think the biggest chance they had was the Xerxes one, where he couldn't sort his feet
Oh
out.
yeah. That was. I mean, that was one of those ones where.
Exactly. So the thing about Manchester United is sort of you can't like 1 week the game against Crystal Palace, like you mentioned last week, we're saying, oh wow, they played well, they created chances, they just couldn't score. Fair enough. They kept a clean sheet. And then you see them in the Europa League in midweek against FC20. And you're like, is this the same version of United?
I think Uzo sums it up well. He says like you earn the right to play, and they just didn't do that. Like they just didn't do that. They didn't have guys willing to work hard for each other. It was just disjointed. I think Ericsson said something post match after the 20 game. He was like, these guys. I can't remember exactly. I can't quote him exactly, but he was like, the players are not willing to apply themselves. And if you hear that from Ericsson, who is a veteran, then that's really concerning. That's really concerning.
It is. The Adams. One final question for you for Manchester United before I move back to Uzo. So in terms of the managerial situation there now at Manchester United, right? There's a lot of Manchester United fans saying, well, they've backed the manager enough. They've given him all the support that they can give him, and for them, it's time for him to go, right? Who do you think is out there for them that is available? Do they go for?
That's the thing about Spurs, man. See, everybody has been going there, doing the business, beating them 1-0, drawing, but Spurs just had to spoil everything. Now they feel like they need to sack the manager. No, Manchester United fans, you guys are in great hands. I don't see any manager out there for you guys, to be honest, right? This
or you can go with
the guy, and you're already in Marseille. So what are you going to do? Go for Tuchel.
Poch is now in the US,
Yes, what are you going to do, bro? Remember,
this guy is still out of job, Tommy Tuchel.
Nah, man.
Southgate.
Yeah, exactly. Southgate and Graham Potter. Those are really good names.
You guys are funny. You guys are not serious. All right. Uzo, let me come back to you. So I wanted to ask you, right? So 6 games into the season, what has been your view of Dominic Solanke? What have you made of him? What have you? How do you rate that signing thus far?
Yeah, I wanted to touch on the ops real quick. Pause, obviously, but I'll get to Big Dom. So when you say his name, you guys say his name correctly. Big Dom. Thank you. We appreciate it. But on the ops, real quick, I obviously me and Adams don't fully agree. Like I wasn't saying that it wasn't more United. It was obviously more United not playing. I was just saying I saw something from us where you could have said the same thing about Chelsea in the first 10, 15 minutes of that Spurs-Tottenham game, Chelsea-Tottenham game, first fixture last season, that they were kind of frazzled. They weren't ready to play. They looked scared. We were about to make it 2-0. We handed the game back. We gave them the belief. We gave them the drive to get back in the game. And even still, that was the one. They won 4-1, and people were criticizing Chelsea. Nobody was criticizing Spurs. Let's not rewrite history. That was not a game where Chelsea were just dominant. We handed them the emphasis in that game. So I think as much as it says about United, it says a little bit about us in terms of that's how low our maturity level is. It was 1-0 going into halftime, and I was telling people in my family, I'm like, I don't feel like this game is over. I feel like one chance for United, and you can flip the game completely on its head, even with 10 men. So I still saw something from a Spurs perspective, but I agree. It's 100% more on the United side of things. And to touch on the manager real quickly, I said at the beginning, I didn't think it was a managerial thing, that game in isolation. And I do think that United have been a little bit better this season, besides the Liverpool game and the Spurs game now, which maybe that's not really the best sample size. It means they're not, up to the big games. But in most of the other games, I feel like they have improved a bit. Like they're willing to get on the ball. What they're suffering from now is the inability to convert their chances, which is weird because they used to overperform their XG. And now all of a sudden they have guys who can't finish, who can't hit a barn door. So I don't know. Again, for me, long may it continue. And the one thing I wanted to say before I go back to the Spurs side of things is, George, you have to hold that. George was on this platform. No, George spoiled this platform's integrity and this platform's ball knowledge IQ rating level. Like, every podcast has a rating. Oh man, those guys know ball. That's why I'm going to tap in. We need to go scrub that episode from all of the analysts. We were on this podcast for almost 4.5 minutes, gawking this guy, Bruno Fernandes. They were telling me he's the second best midfielder in the league behind Kevin De Bruyne, and we all just sat here and allowed it to happen. I was by myself fighting this battle.
I remember my particular statement where he said if Arsenal had Bruno Fernandes, they would have won the league last year.
We would have won the league. I was on my knees. I was like, guys, let's not do this to our reputation. Let's not do this to the minor respect that we've built over the last year. Please, let us not do this.
I remember the comments we got from some of the viewers were like, I saw like, this guy knows ball.
Is United fans, bro. Again, now they're all hiding, all of them. You won't find those comments anymore for the next few weeks. You won't find any of that bloviating and bragging because they think they're back because they fixed the kitchen ceiling. My point is, listen, on behalf of Football Fan Zone, we would like to apologize for that segment. It's not who we are. It doesn't represent any of our views. We didn't have the Adams on that episode. I'm sure. Listen, if any prospective future employees that we're watching, that is not who we are. That's not how we risen this game. Bruno Fernandes is an absolute disgrace. He's nowhere near the second best midfielder in this. He's nowhere near top 5 best midfielders in this league in the time that he's been here. And I don't care how many goals he scores from penalties where he's hop skipping like a ballerina. I don't care how many times he lashes the ball 500 times to get one goal and gets praised for it. That guy is anti-football. He's horrible. Wow. His passing is shit. He has no leadership bone. This is their captain, by the way. Played absolute nonsense, lunged in for a stupid tackle. And I think the red was harsh, but I think he gave the referee a decision to make. And honestly, I think he wanted to get sent off. We've seen Pogba do this time and time again where, you know what? I'm not having a good game. We're going to get beat. Let me just get an early shower. That guy is an absolute disgrace.
That intentionally get red cards.
Absolutely. Early shower, and he wants to duck the next. Wow. Listen, they're about to go away to Villa. You think he wants that smoke? No, he doesn't want that smoke. Do you know what Morgan Rogers is going to do to this guy? Listen, we've all played football. Sometimes you got to make a business decision, and he made a business decision. So I'm making a business decision to save this podcast from the shame and humiliation that George was just a guest. We've tried to invite him back. You can see he's not honoring our invites anymore. He tried to drag down.
George needs to come back to answer for his crimes.
The next time you see George on this podcast, he will be in chains, handcuffs, ball and chain with stripes across his chest because he's not getting away with that crime. Now back to Big Dom. Listen, I said when he was signed, favorite signing of the summer. And I'm going to stand. When he was scoreless, right, in his first 3 games, people were telling me, 0-0-3, you know what I mean? That's kind of long. Kept saying he's played well. Every single game that he's played in, I have been perfectly satisfied. Does he need to score goals? Of course. But listen, in this day and age, we're in the age where your 9 is more than just the goals that they score. I'm sorry. It's just the reality. You look across the landscape, there's 3-4 prolific 9s left, right? Most of the other 9s are kind of just facilitators. You even look at a guy like Ollie Watkins. It's more about their ability to get the team playing in a certain way. And listen, Big Dom is, if Big Dom was the glove that O.J. Simpson tried on at that trial, he would be in jail right now. He is a perfect fit for the way that Spurs want to play. He's a perfect fit. We went into the market. We found the perfect fit. I love the way he's able to lead the lines. There's just a certain swagger the team have. He's able to get people pressing. He turns the ball over remarkably amount of times. Honestly, I was even watching in that second half, the ref started to feel bad for Martinez. There were some times where he was losing the ball. It wasn't a foul. Ref was just like, foul. Just keep the ball. It's okay. Because Dom was all over him. And listen, that's all you can ask for. He's not a prolific clinical finisher. If not, I would have been up here saying, you know what, he's going for 30 goals. But in this system, we're going to create so many clear-cut chances. You see, the 3 goals he scored have all been tap-ins. Just cleaning up loose balls in the box. That's all we need. Just be in and around the box, be ready to finish, be ready to take your chances. He's going to have games where he gets a brace, where he gets a hat. He could have had a brace today. He could have had a hat trick today. But we're going to get to – what's that mean? You're going to get some, bro. You're going to get some. Hold on. He's never going to be that type of striker that scores 4 or 5. I get that. He's never going to be that. He's not clinical. You even saw with the 1-on-1 he missed today. He's not clinical. Let me be the first one to say that. That's not why we signed him. And that's why, for me, I've been absolutely over the moon with his performance. I'm more than satisfied. He's already my personal Spurs signing of the season, as far as all the people we signed, not across the league. But He's my Spurs signing of the season, and I couldn't be more happy with him. And I stand by what I said. He's going to outscore Havertz. At the time, was ahead of him. Now you see the shameless goal that Havertz tried to steal, right? He stole that. That's fine. We'll let him keep those. Let him keep those.
To be clear, you're saying Dom scores more than
Havertz. All competition, all across the board. He's going to outscore him in every single round. And we had that bet, me and Nuku. And remember when I said this, Havertz was ahead of him in goals. I want that to be clear. And I'm still saying, I'm not saying from this point on, I'm saying he's going to outscore him point blank, period. And he's going to outscore a lot of others. I'm putting him for 20 league goals this season still. Yes, wow. 20 league goals. And I think he's going to be the highest scorer in the Europa League as well, because it seems like we're trying to get him firing. We're trying to get him getting all of his minutes. He's an absolute tank. I'm very okay with him. And he's going to score those 20 league goals while not being prolific, while not being a clinical finisher. And honestly, no complaints. If things go bad, I'm going to be here to hold it. I'm not George. I don't run. I'm going to be here to hold it. But I'm telling you right now, Big Dom, A+, 10 out of 10 review. Let's get to Chelsea, man.
Yeah. All right. Before we get to Chelsea, right, I just want to get some.
I see through this gimmick, man. I see through this Chelsea gimmick. Well, it's all good. All right. Amma, public invitation for Amma, man. We need to get Amma on.
It's all right.
I'm not one of the people who foresaw this. So yeah, he does. Yeah. Don't you laugh?
Yeah.
I'm a Chelsea fan, right? Yeah. All right. Uzo, before we move on from the Spurs, right? I can see you sort of like in a confident, jiggy mood. So sort of I just wanted to get. Why are you laughing?
What? A confident what mood?
Move on. Let's move on.
Let's ignore that. Scratch that. Okay, you're in a confident mood, right? Okay. I'm assuming you're looking forward to the game on Thursday in Europa League against the Hungarian champions, Ferencváros.
Yeah. Worst teams than the teams who face in the conference.
Let's say, Adams, be careful now. Be careful. Remember where you are. Don't get ahead of yourself.
I like that.
Don't. Facing Gerd from the Belgian league. What are you talking about? Hungarian league.
These are the Hungarian champions, man. Come on, Adams.
I was about to say we just played the Azerbaijani Man City, bro. Now we're about to play the Hungarian Man City, bro. We're on a tour of beating all these top teams.
Exactly. So I'm sure you're confident. You guys will be traveling to Budapest.
Hey, listen. Pius, I sense the condescension in your voice. It's okay. It's okay. You get to do it. It's fine. You're looking good. I get it.
All right. Let's not.
But I'm definitely confident about that game. I told you I'm more excited to watch Europa because of my young boys. So let's have it, man.
Try to work.
Oh, he looked good on his cameo today. You saw that shot, right?
One thing I saw something funny.
Not better than Timo Werner, man. A lot better.
Oh, listen, that's the one complaint I have about this manager. Why is Werner getting 70 minutes when he was clearly the worst player on the pitch across both teams?
Yeah, he missed some.
And we have a young stud that needs minutes. I don't get it. To me, the coach is very cowardly for that.
Somebody said Timo Werner.
Even before the game, I saw it like Timo Werner 1-on-1 against Onana. Who do you even back in that situation? And we saw Timo Werner really is that bad that he can even make Andre Onana look good. Disgusting.
All right, let's move on from Spurs and move.
Shout out my boy Bernard Johnson again, man. Just had to chip that in. Oh, 4-4. That's crazy. Nah, yeah. That's good.
His dad was at the stadium today, so
yeah, that's stuff like to see.
Yeah. All right, guys. Let's turn our attention now to the another London club, the Blues, the club in West London. We saw Chelsea, dismantle Brighton by 4-2. Back-to-back victories now for Chelsea in the Premier League. Adams, I remember earlier in the season, where I was asking you if Chelsea might not, it's like they're not looking consistent. Remember after that 6th victory over Wolves, then they now played a 1-1 draw against the sort of Chelsea we're going to be seeing this season. But they've responded to say no, like Chelsea were looking like the real deal now. 7 goals in 2 games in the Premier League. The Adams, take it away. How are you feeling? How's the mood?
Yo, I can't even lie to you. I told you that first half, that's probably one of the best football I've seen in a long while. from my team. Like it was incredible. It was a good watch, bro. Cole Palmer. I think. Now I don't even know. I don't think we can do this guy enough justice. Like this guy is incredible. Like what I was seeing him do.
Is it?
Yeah.
Let me ask you, Adam. In terms of the Premier League right now, is there any player better than Kopama?
Oh,
right
look,
now?
I can't take any player above, how do I say this? Like, I'm not taking,
Ahead of him.
yeah, I'm not. I don't care who the player is. I don't care. Like, you can mention any player right now.
Never getting ahead of
Nah.
Kopama.
And I'm not saying that they're better, like he's better than all the players, but for sure, what I've seen this guy do, yeah, I don't think there's any player that gets ahead of him for me.
Strong point. Yeah, so but in terms of like the Chelsea's attack line, Sancho, Jackson, Madrid, it seems it's all clicking, it seems it's all working. Cole Palmer as well. I saw something, I just want to get your views on this. I saw somewhere yesterday where some pundits were saying, I think it was Tim Sherwood or somebody was saying, though Chelsea played well, but they were sort of helped by Brighton's approach. This new Brighton coach, Fabian Hasler, this young coach, is someone that wants to, there's this sort of like obsession with, this is my style of play. No matter where we go, this is how we're going to play. High line. I trust my players. So there was that like, they played into Chelsea's hands. Though Chelsea were good, they're not discounting that they were good on the day, but Brighton also helped their cause.
I mean, listen, man, Chelsea wins a game and they try to. I remember when we won 6-2 and Uzo was sitting there saying, well, no, that was a very bad Wolves team. What's their defender? They had Musquera, a team that has a backline of Musquera. Bro, that's what you're supposed to do, right? When you play bad teams, you're supposed to beat them convincingly.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
That's exactly.
You smell blood and you go for it. Yeah.
Bro, last season, we played Burnley and we drew 2-2 at home, and they had a man down. They had a red card. Remember that game? Are you telling me Burnley was like 10 times worse than Brighton, right? And Wolves. So yeah, we're doing exactly what we need to do. Are we perfect? Far from it, right? You saw the mistakes that we had playing out the back. Sanchez is clearly not the guy moving forward, and some defenses lapses here and there against Wolves that happened too. So it's not like we're perfect, but yeah, the attack is looking scary, man. On their day, they look like they'll dismantle any team, especially in transition. You don't want to come up against these guys in transition. Cole Palmer looks like he's always making the right decision. Jackson would always be Jackson, but he gives you, like Uzo was saying, he's able to lead the line very well, press really well, hold up play, and bring others into play. Madueke is off the ball, really good. I know people talk about his selfishness, but off the ball, he's been really good, pressing really well. Yeah, Sancho, man. Look, trust me, like I wasn't expecting him to be this good this early on. I expected that we'll phase him in. I even thought Neto was going to be the one starting, but he's coming and he's done very well.
If Manchester United said you should add 10 million pounds.
Yeah, we'll add, man. We'll add 10 million. We'll add 10 million on top, man. We'll add 10 million on top. This team, bro, I had Chelsea fans texting me mid-game. Like, is this real? 4 goals first half. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. It's crazy. Like, this is greatness. This is something you tell to your kids. Like, bro, you had to be there. You had to be there. This guy scored 4 first-half goals. That's incredible.
Wow. Let me bring in Uzo. Let me get a neutral view on this.
That's clear.
Uzo, no, Uzo, as be as neutral as possible. Let me get your view on Chelsea, right? This latest game we've seen for Chelsea. Let me get your view. Uzo, let's go.
See, I was gonna try my best to do this justice. You were doing so well, Adams. Last thing.
Yo, that's probably one of the best individual performances.
Adams is going to tell his kids about a random match week 5 victory.
No, I'm not even talking about the victory. I'm talking about a player scoring 4 goals in the first half of a game. Don't act like that's something that everybody does. If that happens again this if that happens again this season, then okay, we can say something. But I can guarantee you that that's not happening again. So what are we saying? Why are we making it look like it's something that tomorrow we'll turn on our TVs and we'll see? Even if you watch Nasarawa United versus Cambridge or whatever team, that's not happening. Like, it's not going to happen. This is the Premier League. This is the Premier League. This is the most watched league in the world. And a player scores 4 goals in 40 or 30 minutes. And you want to act like, why should we talk about it? It's match day 5. Nobody's saying we've won the league. We're saying that performance at that level in the Premier League, come on, man. That's not something that you should just like. You should just. That's
I'm not saying I don't. Good one, man.
So it appears once again, I have to be the voice of reason with this. Listen, I may love this podcast more than anybody else on this platform, man. I'm trying to save us. I'm trying to save us. Listen, for me, it was an absolutely world-class performance from Cole Palmer. Of course, great performance. And I don't think it's going to be going on DVD. I have to disagree. And again, when you think of the context of the club that he's at, right, and you think of the kind of accomplishments, I think what has happened over the last couple of years is Adams doesn't even know it, but slowly but surely they have completely eroded his standards. Because this is why Adams sat here and defended. I let you speak.
There's some performances that you just never forget. I remember Franklin, and this is not even about like the league or winning the trophy. There's just some performances that you be like, okay, man, this performance, this game, this standalone game. I remember Frank Lampard scoring 4 against Derby. And I'm like, what? 4 goals? Bro, I'll never forget. Like, those are those things that just stick out to you. Like, man, this is incredible. Like, how did this happen? Like, there are just few things like that. Like, forget about, where we finished this season. Like, he scored 4 against Everton. And I wasn't doing this, right? Because the context of how it was, and like, it wasn't in one half. But like, in one half, but as for his, and this is someone that's done it before too. Nah, come on, man. That's something like this. You can't overhype that. You can't.
So Adams has said that forget about where they finished this season. He also said during the game, I was on his Twitter, I was on patrol. They were asked, what if we bottled this game? This was at halftime. And this is part of the context of what I'm going to say. He said he didn't care. He didn't care if they went on to win or lose the game. But all that matters was this performance was.
Bro, like you see, man. Let's just obviously. I wanted us to win the game, but like right up the way if you got to that feeling, man. If you got to that feeling,
let's not let Adams walk any of this back. Audience, he's trying. This is a man who is facing death row. He'll say anything now to get out of it. The facts are the facts. Adams, he just said it himself. He doesn't care where they finish this season. He's going to tell his kids about this performance.
That's not what I said.
So all I'm asking you guys, fans of Chelsea, tell me if that's where the standards are now. Because that's what listen, I've seen Harry Kane.
Look, hold on. We won against Brighton and we're analyzing the Brighton game.
But again, if we were just, and I didn't even want to do this today. Like, honestly, when everything he said, I agreed with. Everything Adam started with, I agreed with. It was until he got to the end. And I know that there's that need to go just a bit above the top when you see a performance like that.
A bit above the top,
but for me, I think that standards have to be standards. This is the same Adams who argued with me that Nico Jackson was in the right to call out a Champions League, a multi-time Premier League winner in Mikel because he scored one lowly goal against Wolves in a game where other people were banging in hat tricks, by the way. So for me, maybe I need to be the one to save Chelsea standards, bro. And next week you guys will see. I wore my Aguero outfit in support of Chelsea because I want to keep the flag flying. I want to remind Chelsea fans what made them the quote unquote pride of London. It wasn't banging in 4 goals in one half. It was winning trophies, multiple trophies, over a long span of time. And
about trophies right now.
Of course, you should always be talking about trophies
right now. So
for me,
if that's the case, Manchester United fans would be like, "Oh, we won the FA Cup."
That's what they've been doing.
But they're not doing that right now. This is a context of a game.
Right now, United are in the doldrums. They can't do anything.
Exactly. We're reviewing a game. What should we say? After that performance, what would we say? We'd be like,
am I right in saying that? Am I right in saying that you can praise the performance, you can praise his individual performance without the just complete over the top exaggerate. To say this is something you're going to tell your kids about is absolute insanity.
How is that insanity?
It's insanity.
Okay,
because this
has
is
that ever happened? Has that ever happened?
You know, I'm starting to get angry.
Come on.
These are the same people who absolutely just roasted Harry Kane when he was scoring goal after goal after goal in this league. All of a sudden now, hold on. All of a sudden now, scoring goals is all that matters. You're going to tell me
listen.
In this same league, Harry Kane has scored 6 goals in the last two. Was it even 6 or 8 goals in the last 2 fixtures of a season to win the Golden Boot? I'm not telling my kids about that. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not telling my kids about anything Harry Kane did.
That's a different thing. I'm talking
and
about.
I'm a sports fan. I don't even win much.
A performance you can tell
the next person to win us a trophy. I'm not telling my kids about any performances.
A performance. So there's no performance
unless you win something. Unless you win something, I don't see what is so impressive. And okay, so for me, saying that you don't care about the result at the end of the game because the first half satisfied you, and you said that. You said that.
No.
And also saying that you don't care where you finish the season.
I said that. No, I said that. Yes.
You're gonna walk it back, but you can't walk it back. You said it.
So let me give you my viewpoint. I think I sort of see where Adams is coming from, and I think I'm going to be on his side, right? I think we just need to look at it as one game, right? We're just looking at it as this one game, and what Kopama did in this game is historic, right? So of course, if Adams says it's something that he's going to tell his children, of course, I won't begrudge him. I won't say, oh, Chelsea's. Of course, it's something to celebrate. It's something that season after season, I'm sure they're going to be is the stats that are going to be reeling out. Kopama, the only person or first ever person to score 4 goals in a half or in the first half.
In the first half, and you know that stat has been even misconstrued because people have scored 4 goals in the second half, but not in the first half.
First half, exactly. So, and Adam saying that doesn't mean that Chelsea are not going to be, are not trying to be, get back to where they were of winning trophies.
No, I wasn't even accusing of that. That's why I said it's my responsibility to keep this podcast on the straight and narrow. That I'm the football fan zone judge, jury, and executioner. Because without me, so many egregious crimes would be committed. All I'm saying is to keep the game in perspective. It was a wonderful individual performance. I've seen Haaland have multiple wonderful individual performances, like since coming into this league, and I'm not comparing them. But there's been a sentiment where like anybody match Haaland in terms of that goal scoring prowess, in terms of that ability to just light up a team. And maybe the last person we've seen do that is Salah or Kane before he left. And there's not really that guy right now that can challenge him. It feels like he's going to walk the league in terms of goals every season. And I think that kind of performance reminds you like, okay, he's not without peers. He's not without rivals. And that's not to say that Cole goes on to outscore him because, again, he's playing from a different position. He's going to have games where he doesn't score, doesn't contribute. But what I saw, and listen, I'm not even doing that to shit on Cole because immediately after the performance, the first thing I said was, I think Cole Palmer is Caitlin Clark. And I went on to expand on that sentiment because there were a few people who were like, oh, it's a bit of an odd comparison. But for me, I compare him to Caitlin Clark because her ability to shoot from long range opens up her ability to pass the ball. But then she's also a generational passer of the ball. So because she spreads the floor so like defenders have to come so far out to defend her because they know she can shoot from long distances, it allows her all these open passing lanes. But she's also now a generational passer. So it's almost like the defense has to pick their poison. Are you going to let me spray the passes? Or are you going to back off and allow me to run at you? Or are you going to allow me to shoot from range? What you saw in that first half was the complete performance from a forward. He was able to lock pick the defense in terms of picking passes, one touch, the same thing that we praised Bruno Fernandes for. One touch, bang, over the top, you're through. One touch, reverse slide rule pass, get somebody in on goal. He's also able to dribble and penetrate himself and create chances, score within the box. Then he's able to score long range from a set piece, dead ball situation. And then he's also able to step up with all of the pressure on him, 9 out of 9 penalties. Where is he going to go? Easy goal. That's a complete forwards performance because he's telling you, listen, you're going to suffer. You just have to pick how. Are you going to allow me to spray passes and get people open? Fine, I'll do that. Are you going to allow me to penetrate and get the goals myself? Fine, I'll do that. oh, you're just gonna settle and allow me to shoot from range. I got that too. We saw his goal at the Euros. So I'm not even trying to take anything away from people. Forget how old he is. This is a 22-year-old, right? 22-year-old
Yeah,
playing in his second full season in this league is not something that we want to undermine. You know, my holding Adams accountable is completely separate. And I'll come to this money Madueke thing.
This is what he does every time we win. This is what he does.
Nah. At the end of the day, though, and what is Nani done since then? Exactly. F all. So,
bro, this is the sixth game of the season. And that's
when my group chat said Nani has scored all his goals for the season, and I firmly believe that. I firmly believe that. That's all he's done for the season.
Before Nani scored his hat-trick, right? And he went and scored a hat-trick. After that, people were saying Cole Palmer is done. One season wonder. Can you remember? I think Chooks was even one of the people that said it. Like, Cole Palmer, fraud watch. And then he comes and he does this, right? They said about Jackson too. They said about Jackson before the West Ham game. Oh, like Jackson, same old Jackson. What did he do? That's what they keep doing.
As long as it's not me.
That's what they'll keep doing.
Adams, I can only speak for myself. For me, I know Cole is Cole. He's legit. It has nothing to prove. You don't fluke your way into the. Listen, he's already outscored Dele Alli during his prime run. Can you believe that? With 30 games less, he's already outscored and out assisted him during the run where we were saying Dele Alli is worth 110 million to Real Madrid. Yeah. So how much is Cole worth, right? So I'm not taking anything away from him. The Nani Madueke thing, I told you that's a separate rice cooker bet between me and Adams. No, I already told him. I've seen. You know, when you look in someone's eye, you could tell 419 he lied on his resume. I'm gonna wait for you to find out. But for me, the game, I think Brighton were an embarrassment. As much as Adams says with the United thing, it's 50-50, right? You can look at it from a Spurs perspective. You can also look at it from a United perspective. You can look at this from a Chelsea perspective. Absolute brilliant game. There were a few mistakes, and the midfield, the defense leaves a lot to be desired. I'll be honest, because they were about to waste that game from Cole. They were fully ready to absolutely disgrace him. And we've seen Sanchez specifically do that in the past. I remember the Arsenal game from last season where you're having a wonderful game offensively and the goalkeeper just loses his head. So there's still a lot of things to work on in terms of their ability to challenge at the top of the table. But Brighton, and I said this after the Wolves game, I said teams are going to learn to stop playing Chelsea like they're the Chelsea from last year. Mm-hmm. Because I think a lot of teams are still playing Chelsea like they're bad, like you're going to go there and get something. It takes a few of these thrashings for me to be like, okay, we're going to now play you like the likes of Arsenal. We're going to play you like the likes of City. We're going to play you like the likes of Liverpool. We're going to camp in. We're going to defend. And you have to earn that respect. You're earning that respect right now because you're lashing teams. I want to see how, from a coaching perspective, from a personnel perspective, how you adapt when you start facing a few more of these like kind of teams that have respect for you. And it was so embarrassing. You have 33-year-old Luis Dunk on the halfway line chasing shadows.
Yeah.
22-year-old men that are on compound V. You're not going to catch them.
I couldn't believe my eyes. First game.
I think the new manager, this new manager, I think is going to learn a few things. So
okay.
See, before we move on from Chelsea, right, I have a question each for you guys. But so let me start with you, Uzo, as a neutral, like, or non-Chelsea fan. I don't know if this is crazy, but I just saw some sort of debate this morning. And I was like, oh, really? Are we going there? So somebody was saying, so let me put this way to you, Uzo. Cole Palmer or Lamine Yamal, who are you taking in your team right now?
Cole. I don't think it's close either.
Cole Palmer.
Yeah. I think he has more decisiveness in his ability to both finish and create. And I think he has more confidence at this moment. I know it's crazy because Lamar is coming off arguably one of the most prolific performances, period. But you saw some of his deficiencies even within that. You saw he can work on his finishing, and he might be a bit, he needs to maybe add a little bit more tools to his toolbox. But Cole is coming from, for me, off of a season where he's absolutely proved that he's ready to be the main man in a team. And I don't know if Yamal is necessarily there yet, especially in club football.
Okay. Interesting, fair points. Maybe I have a different view.
But I was also the person who told people I'm taking Odegaard over Bellingham, and it sounded crazy at the time. But, I think doing it for longer matters.
Nah,
You know
just
what I mean? If
just
it matters.
scaled out of debates, man.
Yeah.
They keep bringing this name up every time.
He's put himself in those debates, though, to be fair. He's put himself in those debates, and that's fair play to him. I'm not saying he could never be better than Cole, but
right now,
I mean, what Cole did last year in the league is insane. And what he started to do this year is even more insane. Insane. So it's just, to me, it's not a competition right now.
Yeah. You can just say Yamal is not at that level yet. Okay. The Adams, let me ask you like a 2-in-1 question, right? So like a lot of Chelsea fans have been saying confidently, maybe some quietly confident. Do you see Chelsea in a title race? Or do you see Chelsea as among the teams that are going to challenge for the title? And if your answer is no, what do you think Chelsea will need to do between now and maybe April, May next year to be involved in that sort of like title chase?
I think any title talk right now is irresponsible and crazy.
Strong words, irresponsible, man.
Because 6 games into the season, that's bro. If you have to be in the title race, right? 6 games into the season, you have to show your resume, your credentials from last season, 2 seasons ago, and already Man City, Arsenal, you probably say Liverpool, but Chelsea, come on, man, it's just 6 games into the season. I don't think anybody should even be talking about title talk. I get the fact that I know Uzo made that illustration last season. I think it's probably going to be the same. If you want to qualify for Champions League, you might insert yourself into the title conversation because like the margins are so slim. Yes, but like outrightly being a title race, I don't agree with that. And from now to the end of the season, first of all, we need another goalkeeper. Maybe we need another goalkeeper if we're going to dream of being a title. But yeah, absolutely, what we should. And this is also coming from, remember, Arsenal fans. The first season they were in the title race, they never agreed that they were in the title race, right?
Yeah.
They always said they were trying to qualify for the Champions League. I think we need to have that type of mentality too. Champions League should be our focus this season. Yeah, I don't care how we get
to talk.
Nah, none of that, man. Especially 6 games into the season. 6 games into the season is crazy.
Let me borrow some of the words from Haaland. They're trying to stay humble, eh? They're trying to stay humble, eh?
Stay humble, guys. Stay humble.
All right. Fair enough.
But you guys don't want to see me this season, man. Some of you guys don't want to see me this season. I can already tell.
Of course.
I want to see you. Come. Pull up. Bring me Big Rob. Bring me Big Rob. Bring me Big Rob Sanchez. I want to meet him personally. I want to shake his hands.
I just want to shake his hands.
I just want to shake his hands.
In fact, Big Rob versus Big Dom. That would be an interesting battle.
That'd be spicy.
All right. Let's move away from.
And Pius, you're laughing. In 2 weeks, Slutty Ball is going to.
I was studying off this thing like after the international break.
Yeah, Anfield is one of those venues where, like, bro, no joy.
Only Adams gets to do this. Equal parts confidence, equal parts cowardice. You let him get away with it. Nobody wants to see me all of a sudden in Anfield.
No. I told Pius. What did I tell you, Pius? What did I tell you? I said there's some teams. Spurs, United, man, I don't care. This season, they don't want to see me. But Liverpool at Anfield.
Well, you're putting Spurs with United, yeah? All right. I like it.
Let's move away from the would-be title contenders to those that think they are in the title contenders, right? To those that think they are the title contenders this season. Or those that are title contenders. I'm sorry, wrong use of the word or phrase there. So to those that are title contenders, right? And so we'll discuss Man City, Arsenal, and Liverpool like sort of together. Let me come to you, Uzo. I know you've kind of like, I don't know, am I right to say you have like a soft spot for City? Because
soft spot.
Not really, okay. But
we beat them all the time, so I just don't fear them.
When you say we beat them, who beats them all the time?
Spurs. You can go look at the history.
When was the last time you beat them?
They're our boys.
When was the last time you beat them, man?
We are. Pep already said he doesn't care about. He literally.
Adams.
They already don't have Rodri. Wait, you're telling me they're gonna put out a strong. If they put out a strong 11, fair play, we're gonna lose. I mean, all those O'Reilly and those guys, man.
Remember, Adams. Before you laugh at Tottenham, remember what Ange said. I always in my second season.
This can change, man. 2 weeks ago.
Edge out. Give me. But now,
You see why I keep telling Chelsea fans, calm, bro. It's just 6
one,
games.
just one, you just need one loss and then everything collapses.
Everybody will lose their heads.
It's out. Stuck. All right.
It's really who you lose to as well. It's who you lose to. A loss to United this season is going to do damage to certain fan bases, bro.
Nah, I'm already telling you guys ahead of time. If we lose to United, it's going to be crazy. I'm going to lose my head.
All right. So back to the sort of the teams that the teams that think they are in the title race, right? So that's Arsenal and Manchester City who think they are, or who are in the title race, and Liverpool who think they are.
Oh, so you're not in the title race? You don't?
I don't know. Let me come straight and say I don't think we are in the title race. I don't think so. But we're currently top of the table now, so we celebrate that for the week. Yeah, so those three teams played. Arsenal and Liverpool won their games, and then Manchester City dropped points this weekend, just like I predicted. In terms of, like I told my brother, I was like, yeah, I see City dropping points away at Newcastle. It's a tough place to go, and that's exactly what happened. I saw the game. I think the game was in some sort of phases. There were some phases of the game where City were on top, but they couldn't just kind of stretch the lead away from Newcastle. And then when there was a phase of the game when Newcastle were on top, and then the pressure paid off where they were able to put City under pressure and get that penalty. And then now this is City post Rodri. So confirmed Rodri's out for the rest of the season. De Bruyne is also not fit. So Uzo, let me ask you, as someone who has always backed City, and I think you still back them to win this season, with the news of Rodri being out of the season, and then these fitness issues for De Bruyne, are you changing your predictions?
No, I think it's a blessing in disguise. I think when you have an innovative manager, like the star of the show at City, contrary to popular belief, is not a single player. It's the manager. That's who is at the center of their success. You can keep that same team. If you change managers, they're not going to be nearly as dangerous. So at the end of the day, as long as the madman is still there and his ability to be innovative in his solutions, his ability to invent and reinvent different approaches and styles to maximize the talent that he has at his disposal, and the fact that they have a war chest, people are forgetting they're sitting on a net spend of negative 500 mil right now. They can go out there and sign whoever in January. Till all of those things are no longer true, I'm always backing City to win the league. And even now more than ever, I think they now have a chip on their shoulder. One of the things, right, and we see this even in American football, the Kansas City Chiefs are going for a three-peat. When you're going for your third, fourth, or however many in a row, it's hard to find that motivation. Why do I need to go win? Why am I hungrier than you that hasn't won one, right? And for them, I think what's always been remarkable with Pep and his City teams is how they can find a new reason to win it every single season. Every single season, there's a new reason why they were doubted, why they don't deserve to win it, why they're going to shock the world. They manage to create this weird narrative around themselves, and people fall for it every single year. And this is the latest edition of that is Rodri is out. De Bruyne is having injury issues. All of their goals are coming through Haaland. They're not as balanced as before. Blah, 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 blah. Let me tell you right now, we fall for this every single year. The fact that they're even in the upper reaches of the table right now is bad news for everybody, because I don't think they have clicked into title winning gear. And I think when they do click, they've shown to me that they're still the best team in the league. Because I saw Arsenal go there and absolutely be humble in their approach. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Everyone knows I'm the king of Harambol. I love it. But as long as you're still paying them that respect, for me, then that tells me that they're still the top dog. They're still the standard bearers of the league, and everyone is still trying to emulate and overtake them. And as long as they have that position, I think they're always going to be in the driver's seat. The Newcastle game, I think that was an obvious banana skid. Just early kickoff. Everyone knows that 12:30 kickoff at St. James, nasty. If you want to talk about a trap game, it gets no better than early kickoff against Newcastle in the middle of an emotional week where, you have all this controversy, you have a season-ending injury. It's very, very easy to go drop points there. And honestly, City and Newcastle is weird. Every start of every season, they either lose to Newcastle or draw. Is always high scoring. This is literally nothing is surprising about that result. And I don't think it's telling of how they're going to go on to play for the rest of the season. And with the way these guys are defending out, have y'all been watching the league games this season? The Evertons of the world, the Leicester Cities, the Ipswich, all these teams, Wolves, Brighton. Are you telling me City can't win this league? They're going to give these guys 6, 7 each. So for me, I don't think there's anything to show that they're not contending still. I think they're absolutely still contenders. And obviously it's going to be a difficult race. I think Liverpool in a weird spot where I agree with Pies, they think they're contending in the sense that Liverpool's only chance of winning the league relies on Arsenal and City to underachieve. I don't think there's anything Liverpool can do in and of themselves to go win the league from one of those teams if those teams play up to their capabilities. But because they're going to have a say in the race, then they're going to be right there to capitalize on anybody slipping up. And that's the easiest way to – every season plays out that way. There's 2 clear contenders, and there's always that team that, you know what, if you mess up, we're going to be right there to take advantage of it. And I think this year, the team that's going to be right there to take advantage is Liverpool because they have an identity. They have a bit of consistency.
What are you hoping so for? The anything advantage of no.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You're going against machines, so I don't think you're going to need all of your tools, and they didn't do enough in the window to give themselves the best chance at contending all season.
Come on, dreaming is free. Come on. But I saw one Liverpool fan saying, like, this past week was the emotional City and Arsenal, Ireland versus the stay humble speech. I was like, oh, the way these guys are all going, this is war. They are going to emotional. The way they're going, they will just, think that it's just them, and then Liverpool just sneaking. And
I mean, it's a perfect euphemism because after all the chaos, all the bells and whistles, you look at the end of the week and you're like, who's at the top of the team?
Exactly, man. And it's
guys just sneak over there.
And I was just last night before I went to bed, I was just looking at the table, and I'm just like, I think City and Arsenal.
Why do you even look at the table game with 6-6? I don't get it.
I always.
What are you looking at?
I don't want to know where we are on the table. Come on, let's want to know where your team is on the table.
I understand.
Well, he hasn't been able to see his team on the table in one Google. He always has to click see more. So of course he gave up on doing that. Us, we can just Google the table and we at least know where we are.
My point, what I was going to say is, I was looking at the table and I'm just like, correct me if I'm wrong. I think Arsenal and City have not lost a game this season.
They're the only 2 undefeated teams, yeah.
And then Liverpool has lost a game.
This season.
No, they've drawn 2 games. And honestly, they didn't deserve to draw against Brighton. You can really say they didn't deserve to draw either of their games.
So
no, they haven't. They drew against Brighton and they drew against City. That's it. They've won the other games.
And then Liverpool has lost 1 game, but was sort of like ahead of them. That's why I was not like, I don't remember this Ferguson's quote saying, draws are useless, man. Like, it's better to have 1 defeat than 3 draws. It's crazy. It's crazy because look at Liverpool losing to Nottingham Forest, but all is forgotten because they're on top of the table right now.
and I mean, in hindsight, you can look at that Forest game and say, okay, that was a bit of a blip. I don't think that's who Liverpool are. They've shown it for me, so.
Price, that was the game that you're ready to throw it all away against. That
Nottingham Forest, that week, I felt sick. Or like, because anytime you just sort of your online, Twitter, Instagram, or Sky Sports, all you just hear is Nottingham Forest first victory in Anfield in like 50-something years. I hate that. Anytime I hear that thing, it makes me. I'm like,
something about seeing Hudson-Odoi and Elanga and me sliding in your stadium can make a man mad.
Now when you see, I felt, boys, I'm just glad
those guys are coming to the bridge, man.
That's your next.
These guys are not going to keep a high line. I think that one for sure.
I think that next game, those next 2 games, right, Forest and Liverpool back to back. I think that's a very good test for Chelsea on just how far along are you? Yeah, because I think you should be getting 4 points minimum.
Yeah. 4 points.
Well, you should be aiming for 4 points minimum, and 3 is okay. If you lose at Anfield, okay, but let it not be embarrassing. Because I remember like last season, you were like, you can always lose at Anfield. It's just how embarrassing it was. So,
exactly.
Listen, this season, I'm so excited because we're going to be seeing all of the realities of all of the claims that we've made all season. Because we're going to be playing. And there's so much parity now where you can't look at any team and say, oh, we don't have enough. United fans went into the season saying they had enough. That's why I'm not letting them off the hook. They said they had enough to get top 4. They had enough to blah, blah, blah. So every man for himself this season. And
And
we
they
all
only
had
had
to
one
prove it on the
injury.
pitch.
They only had one. I think it was only Luke Shaw leading up to your game.
So Lenny Yoro as well, who was
Oh,
out
Lenny
for
Yoro,
pretty much
yeah.
most of the season. Yeah, but honestly, would he have changed much today?
No.
No. They had their Ugarte started. They had Mainu. They had the ideal midfield. Bruno. All of them were there. It's beautiful.
Guys, let's quickly touch on Arsenal, right? Another horse in the title race, right? We saw them play this weekend. They had to battle, which was surprising to me, at the Emirates against Leicester City to win 4-2. You know, I was not watching the game. I was sort of following the game online, and I saw 90th minute 2-2. I was about to be like, Arsenal are about to drop points again, and then I saw +7. Yeah, I just knew that, Arsenal was surely going to find a way to win. And they won that game. A lot of rival fans, Liverpool fans were angry, like, oh, what happened that warranted 7 additional minutes, you know? But fair play to Arsenal. That's what would-be champions would do. Find a way in a sort of tricky situation at home to Leicester and win. And they did that. So I think, just like Uzos mentioned, they've not lost this season. And the 2 games that they've drawn this season, it felt like they were unfortunate. So it feels like, they're kind of like sort of favorites. I actually predicted they will win the Premier League this season. I think I'm still going to stick with them. I think Manchester City will slip up somehow this season. That's what I think. The Adams, Arsenal for you, of course. I think they've been impressive. Anything you want to add about Arsenal?
Not too much. I didn't see that game, but they were able to get the win. I heard that the Leicester City goalie, had an incredible game. He made a lot of saves. And again, they're set pieces, right? They just always have something in their toolbox, and they pulled that one off. Unfortunate for Wilfred Ndidi, who I felt like had a decent game from the reviews that I read. And I mean, it was a good win for them. The scoreline sort of like flatters it, right? 4-2, and it was a lot closer than that.
Exactly. And I think Arsenal fans will be pretty much excited. There's excitement amongst them that, because they're looking at their fixtures this season and they've gone to some difficult away games.
Yeah.
7 out of 9 away to Villa, Tottenham, and City.
Yeah.
Those are, as a Liverpool fan, those are places that are
scary places to go.
Yeah.
Besides, those are scary places to go.
No, I think Spurs are still.
There's nothing scary about going to Spurs.
Away at Spurs is still scary.
No, it's not.
Uzo, I need your view on this. When you get back, I need your view. So there's nothing scary about going to Tottenham away.
Uzo knows that there's nothing scary about going.
Wait, is he speaking on the Arsenal win?
No, I'm just speaking in terms of in general for like any major big team. Like Tottenham away is a difficult game for them.
I mean, he has the right to say that because he won. And if you win at Spurs, then you can pretty much get whatever off that you want.
Yeah, but
for me, of course, I mean, like, let's not get silly. Of course, any away game at a top 6 side is not an easy game.
Yeah. So Adams.
But you know Adams and his digs because he has seen Cole Pele drop 4 goals in one half. He can't rest.
Yeah, they're getting done by Noni. That's one thing he needs to know. Like,
let's have the first Football Fan Zone bet right now. I'm not even kidding because that just annoyed me. If Noni Madueke scores against Spurs, home or away this season, I'll wear a Chelsea jersey live on camera. I actually have to
even do that.
I promise you.
Don't do that.
And you know what? And you know what? To make it fair, Adams, if and when Dominic Solanke scores a brace against you guys,
what?
Dominic Solanke will score a brace against Chelsea. And when he does that, you will wear a Tottenham jersey. It's the
I'm not.
That's a fair deal.
I'm not.
I'm giving him 1 goal versus 2.
I'm not doing that.
Look at that.
Adams, that is going to
That's
internet.
I'm not.
Adams kissing the Tottenham jersey will break the internet.
This is how I know he doesn't believe in Noni like he claims he does. This is that only night podcast. Only night podcast talking to him.
Nah, you can say all you want, but I don't think
The day Noni scores against us at my stadium,
honestly,
I don't know.
Too, man.
I don't know if I'll be able to handle it.
What's that celebration?
Wow.
I think it's I guess right.
Some gang signs, I don't know, but he needs to be in jail. But honestly, the thing with Noni that I've noticed, Adams, and you can't tell me you haven't noticed it, he's so selfish. For a player of his ability, he's so selfish, and it's not even the good kind of selfish. It's just you know what it reminds me of is like when someone like tries to cheat to get an edge, right? Like maybe they do a quick free kick and try to score, and then they miss the chance. It's like you tried to do the most and you didn't even make anything of it. He's that kind of guy. He's like he does the selfish thing and he doesn't even score. He doesn't even do something meaningful from the chance.
The thing about Nani is like Nani is still going through a phase, right? He's still going through a phase, and he's going to get better.
25-year-old man.
And people talk about the selfish thing. It's like when you do stuff like that, you have to score. Like Palmer does it and he scores. Nobody says anything, right? But when Nani does it and doesn't score, then it becomes an issue. So I think as part of that, right, he's just a very confident man. He believes in his own ability, and that's why he's not in here today. So some of that is going to happen. He just needs to know how to balance it.
Yes. Okay, guys. Just as we try to wrap up the show, I just want you guys two quick predictions. Champions League, Europa League this week, even the Conference League this week as well. Chelsea are kicking off their Conference League campaign as well. There's an interesting game in the Champions. There were two interesting games for me that I want to get you guys quick predictions on, right? So the first one is Arsenal hosting PSG at the Emirates. Adams, I want to get your prediction, your score on that. Let me start with you.
Oh man, I don't see them beating Arsenal at the Emirates. I'll probably go for like a 2-1 Arsenal win.
2-1 Arsenal win. Yeah. Okay. Uzo, you want to chip in on that?
A part of me is remembering that Newcastle masterclass against PSG last year in the Champions League at St. James. And I'm thinking, Arsenal are just prideless enough to do the same kind of job that Newcastle did and just bank in and hope. So I can see a 1-0 win for Arsenal, a 1-0 scrape of a win. But honestly, at the moment if you're conceding 2 goals to Leicester City and James Justin, a man with 2 first names that looks like he should be on the cast of Love Island, I don't know what the likes of Barcola, the likes of Usman are going to do for you. But for me, I'd be expecting PSG to go in there. And PSG are dangerous right now. Yeah. They're not the same team. They don't play through one guy anymore. They have a new sense of belief. Warren, Zaire Emery, they have some hoopers. Yeah. So I think it'll be a good game. I just hope. Listen, I love Hiram, but I just hope that Mikel's plan is not to play every single big game this way because we deserve a classic. You know what I mean? I'm not even saying that Arsenal will lose if they go toe-to-toe. I think if they go toe-to-toe, it'll be a good game. I just want to see a good classic. How rare for PSG to come to the Emirates. Come on, give us a game. This is the French capital of London versus, the actual French capital. Like, let's see a nice game. Let's see a nice game. That's what I'm saying.
So I know what you're doing though. You want to, a part of you wants Arsenal to lose that game. Fair enough. All right. The other game I'm keeping my eye on as well is Aston Villa hosting Bayern Munich in the Champions League.
Man, Bayern Munich needs to do me a favor, man, and they just need to knock some sense into this Aston Villa side. I'm tired of them, bro. I'm tired of them.
Bayern is going to win that game in dominant fashion. I don't think Villa are good. They have glaring issues defensively, but they do have a clutch gene. And I think this John Duran guy he's absolutely the truth. He's the business. But come on, you're going against the standard bearer in terms of striking ability. Come on. I hope Duran is going to bring pen and paper. Don't bring your boots. Bring pen and paper and learn from the best. Right, but Bayern is another team that has started the season really well. Very happy for company. Failing upwards for a black man is always going to be championed over here. He's doing the business. I think they're clearly going to win their league and they're going to be dangerous in the Champions League as well. So I think that's going to be a high scoring affair, but I can see Villa getting absolutely smacked.
Wow. Interesting. I don't think so, but we'll see. Yeah. And there's one last game.
Morgan Rogers not be Musiala. Yeah, saying I don't think so. The way we gas Prem players is crazy. Musiala, Olise, Kane, and you're telling me you don't think so?
It's going to be a cracking game.
Okay. Twists and turns. I know.
Yeah. And then there's a Nigerian battle. Finally, Leverkusen versus AC Milan. Boniface versus Chukwueze. That should be another interesting tie as well. Looking forward to that. Yeah. All right, guys.
By the way, only Nige, first episode, first season. It's going to be out like today or tomorrow, probably. Yeah, whenever you see this.
Only Nige, our first.
I'm saying Y'all don't let Adams go on Only Night and start claiming my guy, Lukman. That's my guy.
I should have, man. I should have claimed him, man.
So guys, so thanks for watching this. Our show, our flagship, all things Nigerian show is the first episode is out, Only Night. So look forward to that as well. Some interesting takes, interesting topics, a nice trip down memory lane
And
as
we
well.
actually have, so for the second episode, right? Pius came up with this idea of top 10 Nigerian players of all time. Now that's going to be crazy, man.
Yeah, you know what? Look out for Adam's ranking of his top 10 Nigerian players of all time. That should be fun.
Yeah, I promise you guys, it's actually a very solid show. Once Pius and Adam start talking Niger ball, you know it's gonna be chaotic. Because I know many of you are thinking, oh, is this gonna be more Nazarawa FC? Because I can't believe we heard that on this episode. By the way, it's not gonna be any of that Nazarawa FC and MPFL, please. It's gonna be about real Nigerian ball. Tune in, please.
All right, guys. This is where we have to end the show this week. Thanks, guys. Please don't forget to do the usual. We like reading your comments. We like seeing your banter. You know, if you think
United fans, we like seeing you guys. Period. You don't have to delete your socials. Don't go missing. It's okay. You can comment. It's okay. It's fine. Don't deactivate, please.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, and see you in the next one.
Bye.